I can still feel the weight of that pen in my hand. You ever have a moment where you know deep in your bones that, after this signature, nothing will ever be the same again? Yeah. That was mine. Sign it, sweetheart, my mom whispered, shoving the pen toward me. It's for the family. The family. What a word. Heavy with expectation, with manipulation. The kind of word they polish up with love but use like a weapon. Across the table, my father wouldn't even look at me. We don't have time for your dramatics, Haley. Just sign the damn paper. And next to him, my golden brother, Logan, sweating through his $1,000 shirt, barking. Don't be selfish for once. Yeah. Be useful. Useful. That was my role of the family's favorite doormat. I looked down at the confession letter. It said I had stolen $50 million from our company. I hadn't. Logan had, but in that moment, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I signed. And that, my friends, was the last time I ever played the family fool. My name's Haley Vance. I'm 29 years old, and for as long as I can remember, my family operated under one brutal law of physics. Logan was the sun, and I was the shadow. The sun got all the warmth, the admiration, the spotlight. The shadow? I just existed to keep the sun from burning the house down. My mother used to say it like it was gospel. I still remember being 12. Logan had stolen cash from her purse, then blamed me. I cried myself sick, and she brushed my hair like she was comforting me before saying, "You have to understand your role, darling. Logan's destined for greatness. You're the support beam. Nobody sees the beams, but if they break, the house collapses. You carry him." That's your purpose. Support beam. That's what she called me. And maybe for a while, I believed it. But here's the thing about being invisible. Ladies, if no one's watching you, you can do anything. While they thought I was wasting my life behind a monitor, addicted to that silly online gaming thing, I was actually managing 3 shell companies, flipping volatile derivatives, and coding algorithms that predicted market shifts 6 months out. It wasn't luck. It was obsession, and invisibility was my disguise. While Logan was setting money on fire, trying to impress investors, I was buying up the company's debts one quiet transaction at a time. Every time my father's firm needed a bridging loan, my hidden entity stepped in. Every junk bond they issued during a bad quarter, I took it. By the time they called me to fix their latest mess, I already owned almost everything they depended on. They thought I was still broken. I was building the cage. Snow hammered the windows that morning. The whole house was freezing, even though the fireplace roared. My father paced like a man, auditioning for panic itself. "This solves everything," he muttered. "The investors see stability, the family name is intact, and Logan steps up as CEO." My throat was raw when I asked, "And Grandma?" "As long as you stick to the plan," Logan said smoothly. "She stays comfortable. You mess it up, and..." Well, he didn't finish. They used my love for my grandmother as a weapon. Again. Except this time, they underestimated me, because by dawn that morning, I owned the nursing home's mortgage note. If they pulled the plug, guess who would decide whether the lights even stayed on? Me. So I cried, played scared, folded myself into the corner they built for me. Then I said, "I'll do it, but if I'm going to prison for you, I want to see you become CEO first. I want to know it's real." He smirked. "You want a coronation? Fine." Logan's ego was practically sweating perfume at that point. Mum waved her hand, rolling her eyes. "Oh, let her have this sentimental nonsense if it keeps her quiet." He lunged for his briefcase like a kid ripping open presents. Out came the leather-bound corporate files, the fancy Montblanc pen he'd charged to the company. He scrawled his name with that arrogant swoop that said, "Look at me. I've made it." There, he grinned, breathless. "I'm the king now." Happy? I looked at the ink still glistening on the page. "Yes," I said quietly. "I'm very happy, because he hadn't just signed a job title. He'd just signed his own confession." I reached under my chair, pulled out a black portfolio I'd taped there earlier, and placed it on the table. The sound it made, it had weight. He frowned. "What's that?" Before I could answer, the doorbell rang. A sharp, slicing echo. "The investor." My father gasped. "He's early," Mom flailed like a wind-up puppet. "Haley, go to the kitchen. If he sees you, the deal's dead." Logan barked. "Move!" I didn't. I walked straight toward the front door. They all shouted, horrified. I just turned the lock with a clack. Leant back against the door. "It's not the investor," I said evenly. "It's my lawyer." Their faces dropped as the reality began to flicker through. I set the portfolio on the table. "You're waiting for your mystery investor? The one who bought your DAT when the banks refused? The one who holds the $2 billion note over your company?" They stared at me. "She's been sitting at this table the whole time." Logan flipped the file open with shaking hands. Inside, no stock certificates, no shiny presentations, just piles of promissory notes and wire transfers. And right there, under authorized signatory, Haley L. Vance, Foreshadow Corp Holdings. "You?" he stammered. "You're the lender." I smiled. "Told you, big brother. I'm the shadow." Within seconds, the room went from disbelief to rage to raw, pulsing fear. "You might hold the debt, but I'm CEO," Logan said, slamming his hand down. "That gives me control." "Sure," I said, "control of a company that just triggered its own destruction." I flipped to the addendum. Covenant 4B, I read. Acceleration clause. Upon change of control, debt matures immediately. If the new CEO has a documented history of financial misconduct. He blinked, confused. In plain English, Logan, you taking this job made the entire $2 billion come due right now. He tried to laugh. It came out cracked. Dad jumped in, desperate. "So we declare bankruptcy. The company folds. You get nothing." I turned to page 5. But the lender required a personal guarantee from the incoming CEO. You signed that too. You could feel the life drained from him. The mighty golden sun was suddenly paper thin, fragile, terrible. "You tricked me," he whispered, red-eyed. "You tricked yourself," I said. "It was right there on page 4. Maybe next time. Don't treat people like props in your story." I gathered my papers.com as a winter lake. "This meeting is adjourned. My lawyers will contact you regarding asset liquidation." I'd start packing. The house is included. Then I stewed. For the first time in that house, I didn't slouch, didn't shrink. I existed in full. I pressed the elevator button. A soft ding, then metal scraped stone. "You know that sound that makes your whole spine lock up? That?" Logan stood there, shaking, a fire poker in his hand. "You're not going anywhere," he hissed. Mom screamed. Dad shouted his name. He didn't hear them. "You'll sign it all back," he barked. "Right now." "Logan," I said, "this is kidnapping." He laughed, crazed. "No one's going to know. Power's out, storm raging. You trip, fall, crack your head, everyone already thinks you're unstable." I stayed still. Calm/calculated stillness. Then I smiled and tapped the gold phoenix brooch on my chest. "You really should have done your homework on the shadow investor," I said. "That pin," I continued, "is a satellite uplink. Your Livloha, my lawyer? The boar. The doe they're watching this in 4K?" The poker clanged to the floor like it weighed 100 pounds. I lifted my phone slightly. The stream showed his face, frozen in shock. "Kidnapping. Assault. Extortion," I said softly. "And, oh yeah, the footsteps outside weren't investors. They were police." That night, while sirens painted the snow red and blue, my brother was handcuffed and led away. He was charged, denied bail, and eventually sentenced to 15 years. My parents lost everything: house, savings, reputation. I bought what was left of the company out of bankruptcy. Restructured it under my name, built something real this time, something ethical. And I used a slice of that empire to make sure Grandma's last years were peaceful, warm, and filled with care. She died believing her granddaughter was safe. That's the only legacy that mattered. Sometimes I sit by her old window seat here in Seattle, sipping coffee while rain whispers on the glass, and think about that night. If I could speak to that frightened girl who used to hide in her room, crying quietly so no one would call her dramatic, I'd tell her this. Being unseen isn't a curse. It's training. They'll call you fragile until the day they realize you are the steel frame holding up their castle. They'll underestimate you until you flip the lights on. If someone watching this has ever been made to feel small, replaceable, or invisible, listen closely. Being invisible gives you space to build in peace, to plan, to prepare. And one day, when you're ready, you won't need to fight for visibility. You'll just stand up and the world will finally see who you've always been. So yeah, that's how the forgotten daughter became the one holding the pen, the power, and the future. I'm no longer the shadow. If my story hit a nerve, if you've ever carried a family that nearly broke you, then please share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Tell them the girl who used to hide behind the sun learned how to burn on her own. And don't forget subscribe to Revenge Diary for more stories like this, where justice finally learns how to glow.